Energy does not lie. It will never lie. So everything has a vibration. You're high vibrating and you're low vibrating. The idea and the concept here is to shield the things that are bringing your energies down. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Let's talk about protecting that energy, baby, and keeping your vibrations super high and not letting other people tear those down. Check it out. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Positivity Experience. It is your girl, Lori, and we are in 2024. Oh my goodness. Happy New Year. I hope that your New Year is already starting off well. And I tell you what, we're going to add to that. We are going to keep the momentum going, and we are going to keep it going in a positive direction because, hey, it's the Positivity Experience. But yeah, it's all about your energy. So this whole month, what I'm doing is I'm doing an entire thing on my YouTube and here on elevating your energy in relationships, what vibration looks like, because it's great to set goals in the beginning of the year. Love that. But you want to know what you're setting and why you're setting it. And when you're low vibrational, sometimes it can skew what it is that your desires are because you're not sure if they're even your desires in the first place. And that is where protecting your peace. You've heard this a lot. Protecting your peace. I say it all the time because I mean it. And I know you've seen it in other places. And so what does that really mean? Well, it's going to be about protecting your energy. Now, I want to explain. We're going to get a little woo-woo because your girl's woo-woo. So if this is not your thing, then you might want to skip this one. But energy itself, right? So for those of you who don't know, I've been a Buddhist practitioner for 17 years and right around 17. And I've been studying outside of just human behavior. I also do manifestations, meditation, mindfulness. Those are things that I've been working on for, well, I'm an expert in it in the aspect that I've had a little bit over 90, almost 96,000 hours now, but it's taken me a little bit longer because I didn't always practice it in a direct path. And so I've learned a lot, and a lot of the things with energy really has helped not just my mental health, but I feel like it's saved me in many, many ways. And so I'm very, very protective of this energy because I wasn't always this way. I was always the low vibrational person. I was the person who was always, complaining and, procrastinating. And I mean, I still procrastinate from time to time. Let's not pretend like that doesn't exist, but it's when that becomes chronic. It's making the excuses. It's the yeah buts. Let me tell you what yeah buts are. Okay, I need to do this. Yeah, but, okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah, but I'm tired. Yeah, but I don't want to. Yeah, but. So all of that goes into low vibrational energy. So you have to understand it's very easy to be low vibrational. Let's be very clear here. Waking up, no vibration, super duper easy. You have to, ask yourself, is it important to you? If you do anything that you want to do, you will make it happen. Like if you want to do it, you will find a way to do it. I mean, that Stanley Cup thing, the pink cup at Starbucks, people standing in line till the 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, coming out and standing for this cup. That's fine. I mean, I don't care. Do whatever you want to with your time. But my point to that is those, a lot of times they're the same people who go, 5 journals? I don't want to write in 5 journals. Get up early. Ew. But they can do it for that. So what you have to understand is that when you're in that space, when you're in a place to understand that what you measure from what it is that you want, you will make it happen. So you are vibrating on that energy. That's with anything. That's with relationships. That's with jobs. That's whatever you align with, you will know because it's going to feel good to you. It doesn't matter if it feels good to everybody else. But what happens, right? Because we know that you can be the low vibrational person. And side note, over on Patreon, I should have told you this earlier, on Patreon, you're going to get a really in-depth worksheet, and it's going to go in detail, kind of like how you can measure like you'll see it on the worksheet, but like, because you're going to be thinking you're protecting from other people, but a lot of times it's going to be you. So you can identify your own vibrational patterns and those around you, right? It's really going to help. So if that's your jam, jump over to Patreon, patreon.com/the positivity experience, or you can just click the link anywhere that you're getting this podcast right now. So back to what I was saying is you have to understand that I hear this a lot from empaths, right? Oh, I can't help it. I absorb everybody's energy. Stop saying you can't help it. You've automatically said you have created every excuse why you're just going to take on somebody else's stuff. You cannot take on anybody else's energy unless you allow that behavior, right? People around you are going to be low vibrational. It is so easy to be low vibrational. It is a conscious effort daily to be high vibrational and to keep yourself there. Listen, you're not always going to fly high. Like sometimes you're going to have those low parts and you're allowed that because you're a human. What you don't want to do is project that low vibration onto somebody else. Right? And sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. You're just walking around. If you're complaining, if you've been manipulative, if you've omitted information, like all of those things can be low vibrational, right? So what you have to remember is that even though you feel low vibrational because you're a human being, that's not okay to just walk around and dumping that on everybody else. Now, sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it. So I want to talk to you about ways that you can start to protect, your own vibrations from other, their low vibrational stuff. You want a low vibrational radar detector. And of course, what's the basic foundation of that is always going to be boundaries, babes. It's always going to be boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I know everybody don't like to hear it, but a boundary, remember, a boundary without a consequence is just a wish. So you have to say to yourself, right now, you have to make a conscious effort. Doesn't matter if you don't like conflict. Doesn't matter if you're afraid of hurting people's feelings. Doesn't matter if you're a people pleaser. You have to make a conscious effort because people pleasing, low vibration. High anxiety, low vibration. I know. I've lived with anxiety all my life. Super low vibrational. Scrolling on social media, low vibrational. Not doing something because you don't feel like it and you'd rather watch TV, super low vibrational. Like these are all low vibrational patterns. So once you're aware of them, you can actually change that behavior. But low vibrational is real easy to live there. And then when there's other people who are around you that are complaining, and you'll see this a lot at work, complaining or, victim mentality and all of those things, it is going to be something that you have to make a conscious effort in protecting your peace. So that means if you got to tell somebody no and distance, then that's what you do. If it doesn't matter what it is, that's what you do. Okay. So when you're in that space, you have to remember that your boundaries are for you. You've heard me say it a million times. I have a whole thing on it. Thank God I'm in the middle of my book now, whole section on it. And you have to remember that you have to develop a consequence for whatever boundary it is, because that's sort of like the gate to your energy. So you could say, I don't want to be spoken to that way. That doesn't mean anything. There's no gate there. That's low vibrational to have a want without a consequence. I mean, you can say, I don't like that flavor of ice cream. That's fine. But when you're creating boundaries, you want to make sure that those boundaries are very ironclad in the fact that they are protective of your peace. So I want to give you an example of that from me, right? And again, I didn't always live here, right? I just told you it took me many, many years, and I work every single day to keep my vibration high as they can be every day. And then when they are lower, I just let myself say, okay, I'm not going to live there, but let me just regroup, do some grounding, do some meditations, and it usually brings it right back up, right? And it's not for everybody else, but I have certain things, your boundaries, remember, are always for you. Right? So if I do not want people inside of my house on purpose, like that are vibrating low. No, you can come to my door. You can come maybe to my backyard. Don't want you in the house. That's just me. Right? You're not coming in if I feel is a certain way, like if I can read your vibration before you can, you're not going to be in my space and probably not even going to be in my yard. Right? And that's just me, because I have to treat my energy and, those within this house, pretty strictly. And so you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to allow in your space? This has a lot to do with your energy. Now, at work, you can't really always, you're going to it is what it is. So that's why you have to also be able to ground, be able to shield yourself from things, to say, hey, listen, Rebecca over here in finance is going to get on my damn nerves, and this is how she does things. Well, you can't ignore that. I mean, that's just there. You can ignore it, but you have to just say, okay, I'm going to make sure that I know that her energy is not my responsibility. I'm going to decompress. I'm going to do some meditation. I'm good. But what are you willing to allow purposefully, like that you have control over? What are you willing to allow in your space? Who are you willing to allow in your space? And listen, people do change, right? People do change. People, they get better. That does not mean that you have to instantly let them back into your space, because just because they're better in one area, if they still have all of these other areas to work in, good. That's great. That's what you're there for, to be supportive, but not at the risk of your own energy. Okay. So boundaries is going to be number one. Mindful. Okay. Mindful surroundings. Your mindful awareness needs to be on point. Again, a lot of times you're not going to be able to avoid things because people, right? Life. But the things that you can make a conscious effort with are the things that you observe. What do you see? What are you watching? Are you watching things to promote your growth, or are you watching things that just support your victim mentality? And what I mean by that is, like, it's great to relate to people. Yeah. But are you just absorbing things to show that you're kind of stuck in that low vibrational, like, yeah, the narcissist did this. Yes, of course, we know narcissists. I grew up with a narcissist. Narcissists can cause a lot of damage. But if you just watch, I was a victim of a narcissist. I was a victim with nothing progressing in a positive direction, then you're just living in that negative space again. It's not promoting you. Yeah, sure, you're not alone, but then you're just, misery loves company kind of thing. So if you stay in that loop and you're not looking at it like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I did experience that, but you know what? In a way, I'm glad I went through it, because here's where I am today. Okay, now, and here's how I got here. That's productive. So mindful awareness is, what am I observing? Am I watching too much television? Am I surfing socials too much? I think I told you guys last week, I think I was down to my lowest, like 14 minutes of the entire week of just mindless scrolling on, like, usually Instagram, honestly. And so what you have to remember is you have to be aware of your surroundings. Certain things you can't control, but a lot of things you can. What you watch, what you see, what you accomplish, what you're putting off, what your procrastination is, your mindful awareness. Are you sitting with like a bunch of mail on your desk right now? Okay, set a timer for 5 minutes, preferably 15. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Go through it right now. I don't want to, don't care. Tired, don't care. If you're going to do that, you're going to make the excuses, you're going to continue to vibrate low. Listen, if you're sick, you got a fever, you don't feel good, that's fine. Don't do anything. But not just because you're tired and just because you don't feel like it. All right. Because you will replace that with something low vibrational like television or socials or whatever. And nothing's wrong with it in moderation. So it's mindful awareness. So it's your boundaries. What will you not allow that you can choose in choice situations? What are you going to not allow in your space? Be very clear in it and know what low vibration looks like. That's criticism, like constantly criticizing themselves, even constantly criticizing other people, gossiping, making excuses. God, the list is endless, and there's going to be a list over on Patreon for it. But those are just a few examples of low vibration. Looking for the problem, not the solution, low vibration. And some of that is the chicken and the egg. Is it the low vibration that happens and then the ruminations, or is it the other way around? Now, listen, trauma is a real thing. Trauma really happens. Trauma is also very low vibrational. It makes you in a very low vibrational space. We know this. That doesn't mean that you have a right to live there just because you had the trauma. Okay. So when you're in that vibrational space, you have to ask yourself right then and there, am I doing something that's low vibrational? Not to judge it, not to criticize yourself. Just say, be aware. Am I vibrating low right now? I am. Okay, cool. Well, what are some steps that I can take? Like your meditation, your grounding, making sure that your surroundings are cleansed, not just with sage, but with Palo Santo and with other things like that. It is a conscious effort. This is not just, you just wake up in your high vibration, or I'll just wake up and people are just not going to be around me. That's low vibration. No, you have to make a conscious effort, and it's going to take a lot of work. That's where the energy cleansing comes in. The energy cleansing comes in where, yes, I like to do the sage a couple times a month, but the sage is not just all magic, right? Sage is there and it is going to be great. And I love that it's there and it is helpful, but there's other areas. What does your email look like right now? Is it full? Then go through it. What's your desk look like? Is it full? Go through it. Do you have stuff laying around? Let's make a plan. That energy, and when your energy is cluttered, your energy is low vibrational. You can't vibrate high in a cluttered environment. And you can't buy your way out of it. Get a million different containers, a million different things, all you want. Then you're just catching clutter in different places, right? So that's why decluttering is a thing. We're going to talk about it in another podcast, in another video. Like, it's so important that you understand that things like decluttering and evaluating and unfollowing things and people who are just constantly complaining, or they're gossipy, or they're just always negative. Why would you allow that surrounding? That goes back to mindful surroundings. Now, the thing that you do start doing is you start saying, okay, who and what is on a high vibrational plane? Vibrate on your level or even higher. Who do you see, right? What do you see around you? And it's a good way to take inventory. Are the people around you constantly negative? Are you watching things that's constantly complaining? Are you looking at things that's reaffirming your victim mentality? Is that what you're doing? Are you avoiding? Are you turning to food as a person who's done it? Are you turning to food to avoid? Are you sitting in front of the TV because it's easier? All low vibrational. And that can come from, yes, depression's low vibration, anxiety, low vibration, OCD, ADHD, low vibration. We know that. That doesn't mean that you're not afflicted by it. Of course you can be afflicted by it, but are you living in the low vibrational plane, or are you going to make a double conscious effort to vibrate higher? Because when you have those things, it's not impossible. It's most certainly not impossible. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And then that's where you have to be careful of not allowing the reason to become the excuse, right? So when you allow the reason to become the excuse, that becomes problematic. Okay. So when you have the reason, then you say, okay, what can I do to elevate my mood right now? Where am I at? Be okay when you're in that low vibrational plane of depression, because maybe you don't have the right medication yet, or maybe you're not sure where that is. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. But just remember that when you're in a low vibrational plane like that, what your obligation to yourself and to everybody is to not inflict that upon other people. All right. So while you're going through it, protect yourself, because when you're low vibrational, oh my God, all the low vibration people come towards you, and you can't vibrate low and then think, well, I want to be around high vibrational people, because the high vibrational people, if they're really high vibrational, they know, do that as a drinking game every time I say that. They know that they don't want to be around your energy. It's not you. It's not personal. It's energetic. All right. And so this is very, very important. Now, gratitude is the key to just about everything in life. It really is. One of your 5 journals is your gratitude journal. Do that daily, 365 days a week, a year. All right. Gratitude isn't just about, I'm grateful for my family and my health and blah, blah, blah. That's not what it is. Gratitude is also the simple things in life. It's the beautiful bird that just flew by. It's the amazing gum that I couldn't wait to have, cinnamon gum, and I had it and it was great. That's things like that. That automatically starts to raise your vibration, but you must be consistent. See, you don't just take your energy high and then you're done for the day. No, you have to make a conscious effort. You guys know that I pickleball, and I pickleball 3 times a week as much as I can. And it's early in the morning. I'm not typically a let's get up and go do this in the morning thing, but I know that moving my body moves energy. That's just energy 101, which goes into the very next one, gratitude and exercise. Exercise isn't just good for your heart, isn't just good for your muscles. It is amazing for your energy. It moves energy. Water, believe it or not, moves energy. When you drink water, it's moving energy. The little things that you don't have to go spend millions of dollars on is moving energy. You can go for a walk, moves energy. But you got to make the effort. So I know, even though I don't feel like doing it, and I'm usually busy throughout the day and I have a million other things that I could be doing, I carve out that time because I deserve it and my energy deserves it. And then I can actually see the low vibrational things and situations and people that I can see better when I vibrate high. If you vibrate low, you're going to get confused. You're going to be like, well, but are they low? Like, now you start second guessing yourself, which you can see it a lot more to when you vibrate high. And honestly, the big key, even as an empath or whatever, if you're getting constantly sucked into things, you're allowing that. So then you're going into low vibrational. But when you vibrate high, it automatically blocks than low vibration. I didn't say that people don't exist. You're not going to just off people at work, but their actions will just kind of ink, like it's like dink, like it just hits this little armor, bink, and falls down. You're not reactive. You don't really care about things like that anymore. That's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So that's why it always comes back to you. It isn't ever about anybody else. It's always you. It's always going to do that. Your grounding is going to be a key attribute. Grounding is taking your shoes off, your socks off, and standing barefoot into the ground, cold, hot, in general. You can do it with your socks, but outside, I prefer you to be like no-footed, like barefooted, no-footed. What the hell was that? Barefooted. And you just sit there and just breathe. Don't try to get rid of things. Don't try to make it go away. Just stand there. I like to see it as a color or like a heaviness, and I just watch it sort of come off me and go into the earth. And it feels so good. And now it's clear and it gives you open space. That right there just raises your vibration. Grounding, staying present. That raises your vibration. Worrying about what somebody said about you is not. Making sure somebody is happy and you're afraid of what it is not. It's the exact opposite of that. That's not grounding at all. That's flighting up in your head. So grounding is going to be a conscious effort of another thing that you can do for grounding is in the morning when you have your water, take a little pinch of Himalayan pink salt. Yes, it has to be Himalayan pink salt. And you take a little bit of the Himalayan pink salt and you put it in your water. So because that pink salt itself is actually quite grounding and it really helps you it helps you incorporate that kind of without thinking, right? So if you can do a lot more things where you don't have to think about it, my God, why would you not do that? Grounding, your meditations, your mantras, your journaling, all of those things are grounding. Even drinking your water, visualization, very, very grounding. And this is how you raise your vibration because the world is largely low vibrational. People, if you find people blaming things, blaming situations, that's low vibrational. And there's a lot of that. Right? I don't know if you've been in the world anywhere and you're listening to the news, there's always something that's low vibrational happening. You obsessing on it, you staring at the news, be aware of the things that are going on in the world. Like you do want to be quite aware of things, but don't obsess on it. Don't start going down rabbit holes. Don't start looking at, the left, the right. Just be wherever you are. Like don't go hardcore right. Don't go hardcore left. Go in the middle somewhere. You know what I mean? But do whatever you want, but it's just not good for your energy if you're constantly focusing on that. Now, that positive mantra that I was talking about can be, I have several. One, you guys know how I start my day. I am capable of handling anything that the day sends my way, and I only ever have today. That's one. Number two, I am not responsible for somebody else's energy. Or you can say I'm not responsible for somebody else's vibration. Like you're not your mom, not your kids, not your spouse. You are not. When someone tries to make their happiness your job, that is really, really toxic low vibration. Okay, it really is. So the moment you feel obligated to somebody and something, number one, you're doing it to yourself. So now you're vibrating low and then you're allowing them to pull you down. You're allowing that. They're not doing it. You're allowing it. And what you allow will continue. That's just life 101. People get away with the things that you allow them to get away with, like for yourself, I mean. Well, I mean, even in law, right? I mean, some people get away with things and some people don't. But a positive mantra is beautiful when you incorporate it. These are the ones that just jump into my head. And I can say those 100 times and they're free. You can say it at work 8 million times. Throat punch energy is not my energy today. My energy is grounded. That's right. Because it's really easy to want to walk around throat punching people. And as a person who grew up where fighting was sort of my outlet for everything, fist fighting, and even verbiage fighting, like I can get very, very cutting with my words. And I did that for a long time. Low vibrational, of course. But you do what you do. And so it's real easy for me to go back there because it's a go-to for me. It even at 50, almost 3 years old, it's second nature. So I have to make a conscious effort to stay in a high vibrational pattern because it's real easy to go back to old low vibration patterns. And so when you're aware of that, you can also see that. And if something or someone is keeping you in a low holding pattern, in a good way to really identify that is to ask yourself this question. Is this person, so think of any person. Go ahead, think of it right now. Let's do this together. Think of a person who you're close to. I don't care who it is. Not small children, because small children are mostly low vibrational. Say 14 and up, or say 15 and up. Any person. And I don't care the relation or whatever. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Do they bring me more joy and peace than they do like negativity? If the answer to that question is yes, then great. Then they're somewhat vibrating on a good level. If the answer to that question is no, then you have to say, why are you staying in that pattern? You don't owe people anything. You've got to stop looking at people as people and look at them as vibrations. Because if you're looking at them at people, then you're going strictly off of emotions. And you can't do that. You can't go off of emotions. Because when you're going off of emotion, you're not really seeing any type of vibration. You're seeing what you want to see. You're seeing the idea of how it is. You're seeing all of those things. So if you're operating from this and then suddenly now you owe this to this person because this person was there when you were little and they did this for you, and now this is your parent and this is your sibling, stop. Because you're not operating off of vibration, you're operating off of emotion. Two very different things. So you got to be willing to detach. Again, I do have the advantage of being a Buddhist practitioner. In Buddhism, you do not see attachment, you see connection. That's just how you practice. That's just life. And so you're able to see who and what should be in your surroundings for your best interest and theirs, right? So it's reciprocal. That's not right. Reciprocated. Okay. And that's why you have your energy boosting activities. Bike riding, Pelotoning, going for a walk, playing pickleball, walking in place, even if you have to, doing weightlifting, eating really grounded, warm foods. Like those are all energy boosting activities. What is not an energy boosting activity? Surfing socials, sitting behind watching TV all damn night. Yeah. Low vibrational. And there is the energy in the world and how the universe works doesn't really care what you want, what you don't want, right? That's just manifestation. That's the energy. So you have to remember, if you are on a certain level, all you're going to be able to do is get that level and beneath that. That's it. You don't get to be here and then go want to hang out with all these high vibrational people. Now, you do want to surround yourself with that. You do want to surround yourself with them, but not in a codependent way. You say, is what I'm listening to, is it giving me education, entertainment, or peace, right? So, and if the answer is that no, then what? Then why are you with these things and people? Again, work can become a little bit more challenging just because you're just kind of there. But if you're in a scarcity mindset, you're going to fear it. Never fear a human being, seriously. Like they're not better than you, that they're not less than you. But you also have to remember that a lot of times, again, it's self-awareness, it's not judgment. So I need you to hear this before you start judging yourself. If you feel as though you are around people who are positive and they vibrate at a higher level and they're a little distant from you, that doesn't mean that it's personal. That means that you are not vibrating on the level that's conducive to them. You don't have to achieve that. You don't work to go into their field. It just means that your energy is not in alignment with theirs. And that is okay. Doesn't make you less than, doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you anything. But you have to know, another thing that will come to get your energy higher too is when you work on your self-esteem. When you do the self-confidence things, and self-confidence things is doing the things that you don't want to do and doing them often and doing them afraid. Over time, you get more confidence by doing those things. Okay? So that will automatically raise you as well. Now, another big one, and my favorite one, is disengaging. See, the moment that you go toe-to-toe with somebody in combat, and I don't mean like, hey, survival of the fittest. I mean, if someone is smearing, someone goes down a smear campaign, or someone is talking badly or poorly, and you engage, you have immediately lowered your energy. Immediately. It's like, skirt, like it just drops right off. It's not even a decline. It is a constant. So you have to disengage from getting people to see your side. Seriously, because of somebody who is in a lower pattern only will see it from their perspective. Only ever. Like you could say literally, the sky's blue today. And if they see that sky is pink, they do not care how many times you say it's blue. And then you're trying to argue, and defensiveness. I do not tolerate defensiveness. I don't want it in my surroundings. I used to be massively defensive. So I can tell you how low it is. If you constantly, like if I let's say I'm giving constructive criticism, it's literally my profession, and people are on the other end and they're usually quite receptive of it. But so let's say if you start getting defensive, I'm cutting it short. We're good. I'm done. Like we're good. That's not avoidance. That's me saying you're not willing to, this isn't just about work. This is about anything. If you instantly go into defense mode, if you go into reactive mode, if I give constructive criticism and your thing is to tell me 57 reasons as to why you can't achieve it and you're yeah-butting me, okay, you're cool. Love you, love and light, but you're not coming in the house. You're not coming in my surroundings because you're not on that place. And that's okay. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm saying it doesn't align with my energy. The same way if my energy didn't align with you, then you would have to do what's right for you. So you have to remember that disengagement is going to be your best friend. There is no such thing as you need to defend yourself to the death to prove your point. All you're doing is literally vibrating on such a low plane, and like attracts like. Okay, you know this, like attracts like. So if you're on this low energy field, how you think you're just going to have all these positive people around you? No, that's not how it works. So it's self-evaluation, but it's also protecting you and in putting up your armor for other people. All right, you're not obligated to live in somebody's low vibration. I mean, obviously, if you live in the house, you want to create a high vibrational space. And this goes back to, can you heal in a toxic environment? No, you can't. You can cope. Yes, you can learn coping. Absolutely, you can. Can you heal? No, you can't. And that means sometimes you're going to have to be willing to be a little alone, a little lonely to get through things. And that's where you're recharging. Think of yourself as like you're charging yourself up, and then you're learning the tools so you can stay at a higher vibrational place. Because you will come down. Everybody comes off of their high vibration, and then it's up to you to recharge and regroup and rest and not just rest and meditate and disengage and get off of these socials and get off of the TV and get your house straight, get your mind right. It takes time. And it takes daily practice. It's funny. I have a thing on my little thing that I sit by, and it says, be stronger than your excuses is exactly what it says. It lives there. Now I'll change it up every now and again, but it lives there. And it lives there because in time, sometimes I'll be like, yeah, but, and I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, low vibration. Let me do this again. You are only ever going to be as successful as you are with the effort that you put into it with your energy, and who and what you surround yourself with. Everybody does not need access to you. Everybody does not need access to you. All right. And of course you don't need access to everybody either, but everybody doesn't need this access to you. And you keep walking around giving your energy to people and lowering your guard. So like everybody with low energy is just like, hey girl, you're like, hey. So if you ever said to yourself, God, why do I keep attracting the same people? Yes, it's you. Yep, it's you. Not to judge it. Don't judge it. Just be like, I see. I can only attract where I am. Remember that. You can only ever attract where you are in your energy and in your life. Period. So it is up to you. And one of the best ways to shield yourself is to raise yours. When you raise your energy, when you raise that vibration, you see things a lot clearer. You don't forget where you came from, because remember, you're working on it every day. But you do not allow yourself to choose, so the places that you can choose, some you can't, to have this negativity, this low vibing energy around you. That is what protecting your peace means. Regrouping, finding time for your meditations, doing your journaling, drinking your water, moving your body, disengaging from socials, not contributing to things that no longer serve you. That is how you raise your vibrations. And that is also how you protect your peace. And That's how you don't take on everybody else's stuff.
Check it out.